All right, what's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. George Zimmerman shot in the face. I mean, so I mean, I'm doing a story about it, but so, like, here's the thing. He basically said, he got into it on somebody shot at him while he was in his car or whatever, in the car or his car, I don't know. But they missed his head, and he got, I guess, fragments or shards from either the bullet or glass hit him in the face. So he went to the hospital, got I guess got stitched up or whatever. Went home, said he went to the cops and he thinks he know who shot at him. Thinks he know who shot at him. So he's working with the police, right? Now, this is why I did a few stories on this guy. And one of them, I remember one of them was actually a fake story that was about the, I think Ferguson, and people viewed it was like blah blah blah, it's fake, and I was like, I know it's fake because I had to do a, I did a video right after that when the people didn't really catch. Like I knew the story was fake. So what? People put out fake stories about uh, my people all the time, and people just believe it. I just wanted to show people that if you realize this story is fake, then how come you don't realize all these other stories that come out of fake? How come everything else is so believable with other people? But that's a whole nother story. Um, Another thing that why I'm saying this is this dude can't find he's not gonna not get into it. And this is what I mean by people like him. They're instigators. You know, they start shit, then they manipulate the system, and but they continue to do shit. So looking at it from, he can go to the police. He can say, "Oh, I think I know who shot at me," and I can give a description. But you got to understand something. And I'm like, you can take the Trayvon Martin scenario out of this, right? Didn't you already get uh, arrested for waving a gun at a guy, following a guy to his job, and letting him and saying, do you know who I am? Basically. So that's road rage in a sense. You know, didn't you already get into it with a girlfriend or something, and their father, and you know, break their stuff, break their property, get in the car, and make the gun gesture. Already that this has already been reported about you. So it was said back then, like this dude. So who's to say? Nobody's gonna believe the story. I was just driving down the street, minding my own business, as I've I have a reputation for doing. Because I'm Georgie, who never harms a soul, and trouble just follows me. I just wind up in these situations with guns all the time and violence. Right? I hear you, dog. You know, so you get shot at, and people are supposed to like, care? No, like no, because ultimately, this is how people are gonna treat this guy for the rest of his life. In the way it's going, it won't be a long life because really and truly, people are trying to, dodge this story. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Now, if this story winds up being fake, then I'll definitely take this one down because I don't need to do this twice. I think that's ridiculous. But I've seen the story about 2 or 3 times. But it is the internet, so some things are real, some things are not. But um, no no pun intended. It's nobody. He's not in a position for people to care what happens to him, literally, because ultimately, this is what's going on. Now, this is uh, the story, right? So, because I don't feel like linking that shit in the thing. So AP, Associated Press, whatever, right? Now, getting into the meat of this situation, I'm not going to make this any much more longer than I have to. Uh, the dude got a history of violence. So anybody who sees him and deals with him is going to automatically assume that if he run his mouth, something going to pop off. See, it wasn't just the Trayvon Martin thing. It was people ignoring what happened before Trayvon. You know, the fighting the cop, the child molestation allegations or whatever. The wanting to be a police officer, you know, the way he, and after that Trayvon Martin incident, the way he followed him, basically hunted him, and then completely lied about it. And people thought, you know, George is such a nice guy, and he can't be a thug. You know, a guy with candy and a drink is a thug. Guy walking around following people with a gun, not so much, right? Then after that, you know, beat up a couple women, old man, you know, taking pictures with the Caltech people. You know, he's a hero and shit, selling Trayvon Martin paintings. You know, talking about it was meant to be. Well, he did some other stupid shit. Passed speeding tickets because like speeding tickets not really a big deal in a sense. The thing I talked about earlier, with you know the road rage incident, following the guy and threatening the guy. Now, I find it amazing, you know, he get more trouble than Chris Brown. Not a big deal, but because it fits the narrative of you know people need to be the nice hero even though they're a villain, he gets a million passes. But that doesn't mean because society gives you passes that society as in media gives you passes. And even some of the people in society who gave you a pass, if they come across you and deal with you in public, they're not gonna give you a pass because you're not trustworthy. You're not believable because your actions keep proving that you're not believable. Plus, it's just life karma. You know, this is why people are nervous. You can't whatever you put out into the world, you're gonna eventually get back. So this is why I say so. Like you can't be as devious as you are, and then all of a sudden expects you know Care Bears and rainbows. Like you gonna keep getting into shit because it's who you are. You know, and the fact that he seems to have a law enforcement connection because he always gets away with stuff. You know, you can say this is what it looks like when a grown man suffers from affluenza. And you know, if people don't know what affluenza is, that was a story of the young guy in I want to say near Austin, Texas, who basically got alcohol illegally, drove off and killed a few people because he ran some people over, got in a car wreck, whatever, and was supposed to be held responsible for it. But the defense was he suffered from being affluent his whole life. Basically, he was a rich kid from a rich family who had connections, so he didn't know no better. He killing somebody and stealing liquor and underage drinking and partying and paralyzing people. You know, that's just you know when you grow up rich, you don't think those things really mean anything. You know, so I mean. You could say George Zimmerman suffers from affluenza because his dad's a judge and he was able to get away with everything, right? But just because you suffer from affluenza doesn't mean that the world gives a shit. It is what it is, because at the end of the day, you know, just like in Trayvon Martin's situation where, you know, he lost his life, he was willing to fight for it. That's what George Zimmerman got mad at. You know, how dare you stand up for yourself? Right? So at this particular point, anybody who deals with George Zimmerman is like, oh yeah, you'll fuck with me and you willing to kill me to stand up for yourself. I get it now. So I'm gonna get you before you get me. That's how I look at this stuff. So, uh, like I said the last time he got in trouble, this won't be the last time his name pops up either. Peace.